Music by the
You ready, Ian?
Let's go.
Kyle, you ready?
You know it.
Alright. I'm ready too. Let's do this.
We've been working round the clock. We ain't got the time to stop. We've been trying to find a spot just to chill, kinda feel like it gotta be the watch. Heroes don't wear capes, despite what you heard. We just regular people that risk our life when we serve. Bring some light when it's dark, give some sight when it's blurred. We lionesses and lions just trying to fight for the herd. We don't live like kings, don't get treated like queens. We just trying to survive.
What up, what up, what up? This your boy Chris Jordan.
It's Ian coming at you over here.
And it is Kyle. I am King. Welcome to episode 8 of the Watch Booth. It's good to be back, fellas. Ocho.
Absolutely. Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Happy New Year to y'all.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
We did miss a week.
That's it. But you know what? It was a good rest week. You know what I mean? A lot of time spent with the family. Maybe gave us time to catch up on certain things. Birthdays, a lot of birthdays. As far as birthdays, yeah. So how about this? Let's get into it. So Jordan, since you had a birthday first, how was your time away from the last time we spoke?
It was good. It was all right. You know, there was bits and pieces that were good and bits and pieces that weren't a little sucky, but you know, I had a birthday. I turned 29. Again.
You lying ass.
New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
New Year's Eve.
If you're 29, what's that make me?
What do you like? You're 15. Not even old enough to drink that you're drinking right there.
Put the milk down.
Me.
Right. So what we had Christmas, right?
Yeah.
I worked. I talked about working. I worked. I literally only was home that weekend. I was only home Christmas night. Picked my kids up. You know, they had a good Christmas. You know, I kept it kind of light, but got them bigger presents, less presents, but bigger presents. You know, then New Year's Eve had a birthday, which was quiet, very quiet. First really, really quiet birthday in a while. It was literally just me, my wife, and my son, my youngest son. You know, got some love. Some people, I think, forgot about me for.
You ain't gonna live it down, brother. You ain't gonna live it down.
This is what we're doing.
You know what I'm saying? I was just saying, you know. One of my best friends texted me at like 11:45.
It was like, hey, that was like right before the ball dropped.
Wow.
Hey, he at least he got it before the new year.
All right. I was on time, bro. It was still the day. There was a lot going on.
Yeah,
the worst part was when I wished Jordan a happy birthday. And you know, we talked a little bit, but he's like, this dude Kyle hasn't hit me up. I want to see how long it's gonna take him. I'm like, oh no! I almost text you, Kyle. I almost text you on the side, like, yo, text this dude, yo, tell him. But I was like, I gotta let things go.
Well, Scotty hit him with the reminder.
Yeah, you were saved by the group chat.
It's all good, but
the group chat that I don't even pay attention to. Is this what
hold
you
on.
guys believe?
Yeah, wait, but let's hold on. So you wished him happy birthday through a group chat?
Is that what I did?
Like,
I don't remember. There was a lot going on.
Oh, you don't even remember? Oh boy,
there was a lot going on.
Yeah.
I mean, yo, it's like 50. Listen, not for nothing. I have you two alone in so many freaking groups in my phone. I never know which one to respond to.
All of them.
If we're being honest. Like, you guys are literally in like 3 or 4 groups in my phone alone.
I did text Kyle in our group chat to say happy birthday to him.
Whack.
But that's a more personal. Me and the three of us, we obviously.
That's true. Okay,
you know?
Fine. I'll give you that. It was a group chat of just us 3. So okay.
Yeah.
That.
It's just the 3 of us.
Yeah.
And I was tempted to be I was tempted to be petty and wait until like 11:55. But then I was like, you know what? You're better than that, Jordan. It's the new year, 2022. It's 2022, and you're better than that. You know.
Listen, I just want to say on the record, I texted both of you guys personally. All right, that's just how I do. You know.
True story.
Yeah.
So you guys both got a happy birthday.
But it was a good. Honestly, it was good. It was nice to be low key. We do something every year, and I'm gonna be honest with you. Sometimes, like even though I'm there, I just am like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's people over, everybody's drinking. Don't nobody want to leave. It's New Year's Eve, so don't nobody want to leave till like 3:00 in the morning. And I'm like old, you know what I'm saying? So it's times where I'm like, yo, how about I go to sleep, wake me up at 11:55. Let's watch the ball drop and go back to sleep.
Go back to sleep.
So,
I don't blame you.
Right,
I barely
right.
made it for the ball drop. Barely made it for the ball
That's
drop.
hilarious.
yo, me too. So it was good, quiet. I've been home for a while, been off of work. So,
Cool.
it's been good though. How about you?
Kyle, since you
Yeah.
had the birthday afterwards, why don't you talk about your time away?
So New Year's, never made it to the ball drop. I
Never?
never watched the ball drop, to be honest with you. I don't bother. My philosophy is I just want to make it to the next year. And that's, that goes back to a lot, when I was younger, we had a lot of people. Every New Year, there was always something. And like I took on this state of mind, like when I was like 18, I was like, I just want to make it to the new year. I did have plans. They kind of changed a little bit. So there was that. But I still had a good time. I don't watch the ball drop, and that was that. And then my birthday was pretty interesting. If you want the details of my birthday,
I mean, that's what we're
subscribe
here
to
for.
my Patreon page.
Oh God! Here
Oh no,
we
you
go.
got to subscribe to my Patreon page for the details.
Oh God!
It was a really good time. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
I don't even understand Patreon. All I have is a OnlyFans. What do you do on a Patreon? Can't be more than what I do on an OnlyFans.
Well, so on the Patreon page, you just simply share intimate details that people can't see, like from your Instagram, your Facebook, or your podcast.
Like what I do on OnlyFans.
Oh, okay. Yes. I don't know. I feel like OnlyFans has a different vibe, bro. You know what I'm saying?
I don't appreciate how you put me in a box, but like that. But okay, sounds like your birthday was somewhat interesting, even though you don't want to reveal any details. Very cool.
I'll tell you this. I had my first tomahawk steak. 40 ounces.
Nice.
You guys want to hear something surprising? I didn't finish it.
That was.
I don't believe that.
I actually would be surprised if you would finish it. Tomahawk steaks are
truth.
out of control. They're out of control.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Kyle's out of control though.
And I'm
so-
assuming
Yeah,
you had
I
a
am-
guest.
yo,
I'm
I was
assuming you had a
surprised.
guest with you trying to finish it with you. I mean, I'm sure they didn't help that much.
No
No.
one touched my tomahawk.
Oh, you got it for yourself?
Mine.
You guys didn't share?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. That's interesting. I mean, tomahawk steak you share.
You've eaten with me. You've eaten with me. You.
Dog, I'm sorry. I wasn't gonna pick you over a tomahawk steak. If we had to choose a fighter in this battle, I definitely wasn't ever going to choose you against the tomahawk steak. I do think you have a limit. I think you eat a lot. But
Now I feel
groupings.
like I need to go get another tomahawk and just devour it, just so I can prove that it's possible. But that's besides the point.
Maybe go for it. I don't know. I doubt it. I doubt you'll be able to finish one. But anyways,
I'm up for the challenge. Sounds great.
So,
Are we gonna we should get our viewers involved. It's legal to make wagers now, right? Can we do that?
I mean, I don't know who's taking the wages, but I mean, maybe we'll throw a poll.
Let's raise some funds for a worthy cause and see if I can eat not one. Let's do 2 tomahawks. Ooh, that's a challenge. That's a challenge. I'm just saying.
I'm doubling up on tomahawk steak. But anyways, we can put that up to a poll maybe later. But
for the greater good.
Yeah. My time away, what was it? I guess New Year's we had Christmas, but New Year's we kept it low key, just kind of like you, Jordan, and Kyle. I mean, Kyle, it sounds like you didn't even make it to the ball drop, so yeah. I mean, I think we stood up maybe an hour and a half after the ball drop, but it was a struggle to get there. I remember I was over with my family, my parents, and the kids. I want to say my brother was in Florida. Yeah, my brother went to Florida, so he wasn't there with us. So, but we were chilling. It was nice, cool, low key. My parents, all they wanted to watch was ABC, which was heartbreak to me because all I wanted to do was watch CNN because you have Anderson Cooper and his husband, and I just think it's just the funniest. Anyways, they're just really funny. But we just chilled. I know Freddie was trying to get us over for a long time to go to his house. He was bombed. A lot of people were bombed that night, but I persevered, stood home, stayed comfy. I think I even had a onesie. I had a couple onesie outfits for Christmas. I had a Charizard and a Pikachu one, but I kept a traditional like red and black onesie. Yeah, my onesie games are fire. So, but yeah, just
Okay.
yeah. We made margaritas.
You're gonna act like he never said that.
Listen, man, my onesie game is fire. You gotta keep it interesting. Gotta change it up. It's different. It's different. If you guys aren't doing onesies, maybe you're just doing ugly Christmas sweaters. That's cool and all, but what's your onesie game like? So.
Nah, the kids did. We always do the pajamas. The kids did the onesie.
I saw that.
Year,
you guys got a real cool theme going every Christmas. I like that.
Yeah, we try. It's funny because Julian been trying to battle me for years. I'm like, bro, give it up.
Yo, I might just be that guy for Julian. Like every Christmas, we're just gonna do ugly Christmas sweater. What? And speaking of, Julian did smoke me because was it when we were supposed to have our shift party? Thanks for showing up, Kyle. Which I don't mean sarcastically because I think you're the only one on our shift that showed up other than me and Julian. Me and Julian had our personal private date, I guess, for our Christmas party, and Julian showed up with an ugly Christmas sweater, and I had nothing to show for it. So I was pretty disappointed. Wow. I had an ugly Christmas hat, so at least I had that. But
you were in
Julian.
spirit.
Yeah, Julian's on his game. Julian's like a Christmas dude. I wouldn't be surprised if his lights displays were better than yours, Jordan.
I doubt it. Oh,
shots fired.
Wait, did he win? Did he win? Did he win?
No, we didn't win. We got honorable mention.
Okay.
Honorable
You got second place.
Right.
No, I don't
You
think
know what Ricky Bobby says about second place, right?
If you're not first, you're last. Yo, if
this is our
honorable
first
mention
hold on.
is after third, it's like, well, we considered you getting on the podium, but
No. Hold on, listen. This was our first year doing it.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
The people who have been in it, they've been doing it for years.
Right.
This was we just threw lights up and we were like, you know what? Might as well.
So are you saying there was some bias
hold on.
involved in the judgment?
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying our house was lit.
It was so lit that you got honorable mention. I respect it.
Now we know going forward,
Like how to move.
How to add some extra. This was our house. Hold on.
Man, we can't see that.
We can't see that.
All I see is bright. I see bright white. So like I see that it was literally lit. That's all I can see.
It was lit, yeah.
Damn. I thought it might show.
What you should have done was shared your screen with the picture. But what you do?
Lit. You can see how
Post edit, please. Right here, right now, show the picture to the viewers so they can see exactly.
Yes.
Right here, right now. You were showing it. Wow, so cool that you got this for honorable mention. You guys worked your butt off for that.
Yo, no, we did what we normally do.
Oh man, never mind. I'm gonna be nice.
Listen,
I'm not gonna say
it's funny because my wife, she hates getting real Christmas trees.
Yeah.
because of the pine. And I always
Why
I
you even
concur.
bring this up? Oh my god, why'd you
I
give him
concur.
that? Why'd you give him
Such a
that?
wise
no
woman.
listen,
Such a
listen.
wise
No,
woman.
Ah,
So
but
intelligent.
so I hate all the lights, right?
I
So
also concur. Look at you guys,
I
a great
said,
couple.
I said,
okay,
it's listen. I
Scrooge.
said if I got to deal with all the lights,
Then we
because
gotta get
she
a new.
grew up
We gotta get a
decorating. She
fresh
grew
tree.
up decorating, decorating,
Yeah.
decorating, and I grew up with real Christmas trees.
Jordan, I
You know
was
what I'm
just
saying?
being spiteful. You were just being spiteful. That's
No,
so.
no.
I'm disappointed in you.
That's a good negotiation deal if I've ever
If I'm gonna
seen
put
one.
up lights, we gotta have a
Right,
real tree
right,
too. So we just both
right.
gonna suffer.
Nah, I like real Christmas trees.
Good for you.
It's just how I grew
Yeah.
up. You know what I'm saying? My father used to always take us to cut the Christmas tree down. I mean, we don't really cut the Christmas tree down anymore, but
Kyle, where'd you cut your boxing
the
bag
night,
from?
the smell
Where'd
of
you cut that? Where'd you cut that
pine,
from?
and
Dick's? Or was it?
Actually, I don't know.
Was it
I ordered
Walmart?
it. I don't even know where I got it
Hey
from.
kids, pick out your favorite Christmas
Yo, you want to
boxing
know what
bag.
though? I tell you what, the kids loved it. They were like, "Oh my gosh, it's so cool!" I was like, "Yeah." Train them up. By the time they're 12, they were like, "Christmas tree? What the hell is that?" Yes, I will.
but
I
yeah.
will continue on.
So it's the new year, right?
Right.
And not to get into the new year, new me thing because I hate that. I hate New Year's resolutions, but I still make them,
Yeah.
right?
Inevitable. Like New Year's resolution sucks because it's like, man, I shouldn't have to change for this fixed date,
No, you
right?
shouldn't.
Like you should
And
just
there's no
always set new goals, no matter what the time is.
right, right.
However,
Um, However, we do it. But so for me, right, and I want us to kind of talk about what our goals are for this year, overall. But for me, uh, what I did to kind of negate having a New Year's resolution was I started to do some of the things that I wanted to do um prior to the new year, right?
You pre-ordered?
And so it was I didn't want yeah, I didn't want to wait.
Okay,
I didn't want to say, okay, well, on January 1st, I'm going to start doing X, Y, and Z.
smart.
It's like, no, I'm making a vow to myself to continue to do these things, as the year progresses. So for me, what I did, things that I, obviously, right. Um, One of the big things that happened was the podcast. Um, this has probably been minus the week that we didn't do it, right? Um, we wanted to be consistent with this, and we started to really be consistent and kind of start getting a flow. And we talked about it, obviously we've talked about this for the longest, and so for me, um, I'm glad that we started that kind of consistency prior to the new year. I started posting, writing stuff, and posting, little snippets of duet and things on TikTok, and kind of doing little verses and stuff like that I plan to continue to do and be a lot more consistent with. Um, so in terms of my music career and putting out a lot of content, I plan to in 2022 just go like super super hard with it. Um, I started making more calls more consistently before the year started with my wholesaling real estate thing that I do, and I actually got a couple pretty good leads that I'm hoping to be able to close or follow up on and do something with. But I think that I started everything before the year started,
So it's just a
but I have
continuation.
this. It's a continuation, but it's something that I knew that I needed to do and that I wanted to do. And a lot of it has to do with just progressing my career. Outside of what we do with at the fire department. and just really like forming habits of consistency. I did I did a couple years ago, and then COVID hit, and everybody, we use that as excuses to kind of fall off of a lot of things. But I was waking up every morning super early. You remember when Kyle, when you first got on the shift, I was waking up every morning, working out, reading, at least 30 minutes a day. And so, I started kind of getting back into doing that kind of stuff. Um, but just like I said, continuing and continuing to go strong. I want to be able to, with my career, my music career, push this year with this podcast. I want to be able to, push. We got to push the limits, and I think 2022 is I'm not gonna say 2021 was a 2022 is my year, but I got a feeling 2022 is gonna be a pretty decent year. And I think that having you guys there with me kind of helps to keep me, you know, focused and consistent. My wife has been really pushing me to do a lot of the stuff that I've been wanting to do. Um, and so that's my new year, new me. You know what I mean?
Word.
Um,
So
kind of thing. But it's still the same old me.
word, same old. Right. Can't change up too much, right? Kyle,
Nah.
so how about we reflect kind of like what Jordan did, reflect on 2021 and then maybe your prospects or your outlook for this coming year.
So yeah, I'm in agreement with you, Jordan. I've never liked New Year, New Me. I've been of the mind of constant progression. So the goal is always the goal. And the one goal that I always have is to be better than the previous version. So I'm always trying to expand, whether it's broadening my horizons with language or my physical fitness, my mental capacity, knowledge, my spiritual growth. And so the particulars, 2021 saw the fruition of a lot of things that were in the making. I finally started the I Am King Fitness, and just really stepped into something that I've been passionate about for a very long time, but never really stepped out there to really push it. At the same time, I have a friend who launched a brand, and I mean, he's the brainchild, but like as he likes to say, like kind of like what Jordan says, like I've been a influential part in the development, and so I am. What's the word? For lack of a better term, I don't know if you want to say. I have a vested interest in the growth also
Stakeholder.
of Mortal Machine, and so we're looking forward to
Can I
big
can I get the
things this
drip
year.
too? By the way,
We're still both waiting on the drip.
Well, listen,
waiting on our drip.
we have an order
Not
out.
that I'm
Like,
a
all right,
mortal
guys.
machine at all. I'm a
You
immortal.
are a mortal
I'm
machine.
immortal. Remember?
Listen.
Oh
I
yeah, you are
can't
an
do this with you
immortal.
I
guys.
embody
So,
immortalness.
with that being said, personally, I obviously want to continue to grow and develop and be a better version of myself every day. But I guess materially, for lack of a better term, the manifestation of a lot of my goals are to see I Am King Fitness taken to the next level and the fruition of the dreams and the visions that I have for that. And then side by side with that is to see Mortal Machine make it to the market in the manner in which we envision that it could. Ultimately, my desire is to have legacy for my kids, to establish something. Cam has a couple more years in the Marines. I don't know if he wants to stay, but when he comes back, it's funny. He was like a little seer, because when he was young, he would always say all these things like, "Oh, Dad, you should get a YouTube channel. You should do this. You should do that." And I was like, "Yeah." And over the last couple of years, we've kind of melded in areas that we both kind of gravitate to, like health, fitness. Cam was my project, so he was probably one of my first official clients, unofficially or whatever. And so I want to have something. If he decides he changes his mind, man, something to come to, family business. And my youngest son literally has the same vision I have. I've never talked to him about it, but he was telling his mom about a year or two back, like he had this idea, and it was I Am King Fitness. Everything that I have written down in my notebook, because I write down my visions and my ideas, and so to leave legacy, to have something to leave for my kids, I think is the greatest achievement. And I think in our community we don't do that enough. So that's
Right.
my goal. It's going to be the same goal next year
Right.
and the year after that until I achieve it. And by then it would have evolved to something else. So, that's my take on New Year, New Me. Same me, keep reaching. That's it.
Right. I do have a question for you. Do you plan on in 2022 picking your pen back up,
Ooh.
or is that just down forever?
You just be doing anything, bro. Here's the thing. I don't know. I will say this. Like, I've considered it a couple times. Like, and sometimes I miss it because, as you know, Jordan, like, especially rough times in my life, that was like my outlet. It was a way that I was able to vent my issues, express myself in a healthy manner, a positive manner, and it also fed into a lot of the other things. Like, the main reason why I used to like to write was because it was a mental challenge. Like, how can I express this in the most clever way? How can I tell this story? But I got to be honest, with everything going on, I just haven't been able to find that rhythm. So it may be done. Who knows? Who knows?
Ooh. And can I follow up on that question? This is kind of like on the same wavelength. Kyle, do you see
Yeah.
yourself ever maybe getting back into fighting or any part of that realm? I know we've talked about your passion about fighting personally outside of this podcast and on this podcast. And I know you have your fitness journey and your fitness goals as far as your business has or is concerned. However, do you think you'll ever, in any way, shape, or form, enter that realm again of fighting?
I mean, ideally, yeah. So I think we discussed it. It may have been somewhere else, but prior to me getting injured at work, I had just started going back to. I started training with former champ Chad Dawson, doing boxing, and it's interesting. He would say little things, and I told him I was like, I probably do want to, get back into competing. I don't know what level. I mean, I guess for me it would be easy because I would have no expectations at this point. Like, I just would do it and see what happens. I definitely want to go back to jiu-jitsu. I definitely want to do tournaments. Like, jiu-jitsu is a sport you could do, like, you got guys that still compete in their 60s, you know what I mean? Like, and that's, I guess that is part and parcel to my goal. My goal is to be in the best shape that I can be for as long as I can for the rest of my life. Like, I always want to be around fitness, training. I always want my hands to be sharp. Listen, I'm throw kicks until I can't stand no more. So yeah, to answer your question, yeah, I do look forward to getting back into all of it. I still feel good. I just turned 40 and I still feel like I'm 25. So yeah, anything's possible. Sky's the limit.
Right.
I'm definitely
Word.
around for that.
All right.
Ian?
All right. So 2021. I'm just like you guys. I don't necessarily try to set any kind of specific goals. Every New Year's is very cliche, right? Just be a better version of you. Try to stay fit. Try to start on a new hobby, what have you. 2021, I think, was a unique year. Um, just like with things that,
Very odd.
yeah, yeah. I mean, very odd. I mean, it was a tough year, to be honest. Um,
Hmm.
I don't think was it back in May, which is early on in the year. I expected something like that to happen along my journey, and I think that kind of like threw my year for a loop. So I've been discovering myself emotionally more in that sense. So I think my goals may have either changed completely or just maybe just wasn't applicable for the rest of the year. So 2021 was really trying to just get back to my roots, at least towards the end of it, which is my family. And COVID obviously had a big impact as well, as far as us, and the ability of us to move how we normally do. So I see 2022 as an opportunity to get back to a lot of the things that I loved, which was being part of the community. I now have an opportunity because I was recently elected as vice president for the New Haven Hispanic Firefighters. So I feel like I have a newborn
Congratulations.
opportunity. Thank you. A newborn opportunity to get back to helping the community, which is a big motivation for me, and a big like passionate thing, or just a big thing that I've always been passionate about was giving back to the community in New Haven. Um, but more or less to refocus on me, and kind of like what you guys mentioned, it's almost hard to not set goals at the turn of the new year. Is to get back to being more fit, refocusing on a lot of the personal things, whether it's family or personal related, because I feel like a lot of that kind of got lost this past year. So I'm trying to refocus in that sense and just trying to be a better me, trying to be a healthier me, and try to be a smarter and wiser me. I think a lot has happened, which has changed, the way I look and try to view things. And I don't know. I feel like I'm trying. I feel like maybe that veteran in football that finally starts seeing the game at a slower pace. I feel like I'm starting to see life, move slower, and I'm able to maybe just understand it and interpret it differently and be able to move differently off that. So I'm really just trying to take advantage of that. In 2021, we started this podcast, which was a huge goal of mine. I mean, I've always wanted to start a podcast. When we all discussed it originally in 2021, that was like a huge motivation for me because I've always wanted to do something, especially with people I love and I care for, with you guys. So, seeing that into 2022 is just, trying to be more driven, trying to be more focused and dedicated on keeping, consistent content come out and being able to continue to be creative with our content. So I'm hoping to be able to at least be more consistent on that front and see that through. To me, right now, a big hobby of mine is this podcasting, being able to do this with you guys and share this to everyone. So really, it's just the new year. I want to see us flourish personally and together. I want to see my family flourish, health wise and success wise, even outside my little four of us. I want to see my brother and sister in law. I want to see my parents flourish. Um, and then personally, it's just trying to get back on track and to keep moving. Try to keep motivating myself to do more and be better than I was last year. I think you guys are a huge inspiration for that. And I have a lot of inspirations as far as my parents, what they've set, the bar they've set. I always try to double check. I'm 31. I think about where were my parents at 31? How can I be better? How can I try to achieve more? How can I provide more for my family? So,
It's always the
it's
goal.
always the goal, right? To give your kids more than what we got. And I'm
right.
at a point in my life where that's very challenging. But it's something that always keeps me going. And I think most importantly for this year, I want to see myself personally uh, get closer to my wife and be a better husband, both just loving and supporting to her, as well as being a major part of this family. She holds down a lot of this household, and maybe sometimes um, it goes unspoken. But I want her to know that I see it all the time, and I know that there's more I can do, more I can do for her, more I can do for this family. So that's always a personal goal. That's kind of like one of those goals that Kyle you were talking about. Every year you want to see yourself. That's always my goal, is to always be a better husband, always be a better father. Um, so that's
I mean, it's
basically
an
it.
ever evolving
Just
thing. You can't avoid it. Like you
right,
have to evolve. It's always you get stuck in one spot, you complacent, and you're losing. So
right,
it's like swimming, right?
Yeah.
If you're not heading towards the point, you're not moving. If you're not just treading water, you're sinking. So you have to constantly be working in order to not just maintain, but to improve your position, so to speak.
And you know what? And just remembering now, I forgot to mention on our check-ins. I also got the opportunity to do the fundraiser for Rico. So we do Three Kings Day for the New Haven Hispanic firefighters every year. We try to do it. I think the prior year we might have had a difficult time because of COVID or everything. COVID has kind of like really slowed us down as far as being involved in the community. But this year we were able to not only do our Three Kings Day event, and we did it with Puerto Ricans United. We were able to give out toys in the honor of Rico. Ricardo Torres, as many people know, passed away unfortunately this past year in the line of duty. But one of his biggest inspirations for himself was to always give back to the community. And that's something his mom kind of brought to our attention. And she was inspired to do a event with us and the community itself, giving back to the community. So we were able to, along with the whole public of New Haven, we had certain drop boxes, whether it was in the firehouse or throughout the community. We had a ton of toys to hand out to underprivileged kids and families. And this past Saturday we had people drive in. We were able to give toys to boys and girls of all ages, from newborn to, I think the highest age we might have seen was 16. We had toys for all children that came by, all families that came by, and we tried to give as much as we could because we just had so many toys. It was such a beautiful thing. And, I've done a lot of these events before. A lot of the times in the past, we've done it in the schools themselves. This year, we try to make it a more safer, or try to take a safer approach with a drive-through. We held it outside and we handed it off to cars and families that drove through with their cars. And it was just a special thing, man, to be able to reconnect with the community after personally feeling like being disconnected for a while.
Yeah.
And then in honor of Rico, who, you guys know, I don't even have to touch up on it too much, but doing anything in his name and his honor is just especially special. His mom and dad were huge proponents of getting it off the ground, and it was just a special moment. So much so that we had news and media covering everything. It was big, and it was.
How'd that go?
So I'm not for the cameras. I'm not for the media. I really hate all all the public stuff. But they did ask me,
But
so
you do so well on the podcast.
I do. I don't know. I feel like this is a comfortable, safe space where I can stretch. I can kind of like stretch my legs and arms and get comfortable. Whereas like on the
so
spot
what you're saying is you got
tough.
some airtime.
So I got a little bit of airtime. I was so lucky to be one of the kings for our event. Don't ask me which king I was, because I don't know the Three Kings story. As a Puerto Rican, we never celebrated Three Kings Day.
As a Puerto Rican,
you know what? I don't really appreciate that label. That label.
Wow.
But
wow, that was good.
But so I was one of the Three Kings, and I was already hesitant about doing this interview because I know because of everything with Rico, they were probably going to touch up on it, and sure enough, that's what they did. They wanted me, was I there that night? How did I feel? And then I was able to swerve out that question as best as I could because I wasn't going to give them any airtime with that. But they asked about like the story. He's like, well, which king are you? And I remember looking off to the side to someone, and I was like, yeah, I don't really know Three Kings
I'm the third
story.
one.
I feel horrible. I'm the green. No, I told him I'm the green one. I'm the green and short one.
No, you're supposed to say I'm the third one.
Listen. I as much as I can tell you is that we rode camels, and like the tradition for Three Kings Day, as I remember, was that you got gifts underneath your bed that the kings left for you. Like that's all. Yeah.
Did you deliver the frankincense or the myrrh? That's all you needed to know. It's like I'm the one who brought the frankincense or the myrrh. Or
your Puerto Rican people that were there for you probably were like,
listen. Yeah, basically. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a highlight. I was able to talk about the good things that happened while we were there. Doing it for Rico, how inspiring that was. Being in touch with the community, that's great because that's everything I've been there and wanted to be there for. However, the backstory, I probably should have refreshed myself a little bit about the
Well,
story. I don't
if
know it that well.
if it
I
makes
don't
you feel
celebrate
any
it.
better, the magic of editing will probably whittle that interview down to like 3 words,
Well,
and you'll look great again.
You're gonna
God, I
fix that.
hope so because I know it's up there and it's out there somewhere, and it's got someone got a picture of me in the King's outfit being interviewed, and all I could think about was, man, if they used any of the bad stuff, it's a wrap for me. I'm gonna have to hide. I'm going to, yeah,
You might have to step down.
I might just have to step down. They're like, yo, this dude isn't really Puerto Rican. Like, he can't be representing
Oh
us.
man, it's like
Which
yeah,
I say
Wow.
sarcastically. You
we
can't take
impeached
that
you.
away from me. Can't take that away from me. All right. But anyways, yeah, it was a tough interview, but it was good. The whole event was outside of that, it was awesome. It was a great event to be at.
That's what's up.
And next year, so we got so many toys, and we have so many toys left over. Next year, we want to do a Christmas and a Three Kings event. So hopefully, we're able to expand our horizons, give out more for the following year. So really excited about that.
That's what's up.
Right. Nice. I do want to throw something in because I'd be remiss if I didn't say it. Because you went back to the check-in and my check-in I really was just talking about how the holiday was, but I do want to say I don't know how to say this, but I did find out yesterday that my cousin passed,
Sorry to hear
and
that.
that was real tough for me because
Condolences, bro.
I mean not only is she was she my family first cousin, but she was actually my first cousin that I knew, or first family member period that I knew on my paternal side when I was old enough to know, kind of what was going on. We met back in like third grade, maybe. We went to the same school, and by some stroke of my cousin that lived with me having a big mouth, we found out that we were related. Her mom was my aunt. And then as I got older, when I was a teenager and I re-met my family, she was actually the person who kind of facilitated that. So that was yesterday. It was kind of tough. But this obviously being with you guys and talking to you guys is kind of like, a little uplifting. I know that she was proud of like everything that I did, and wouldn't want me to really be too down about it. But I do want to say
It's
to
hard though.
yeah, rest in peace, Janice.
Rest in peace,
Um,
Rest in
Janice.
peace.
I'm gonna love you and I miss you forever. So
I'm sorry for your loss, Jordan, and my best and my prayers. Since this is our first time that we hear about it, but my best, my prayers from my family to yours in this difficult time. I know it's always hard to lose a loved one, especially someone as personal as that. So,
yeah,
I'm here for you, brother. I love you.
appreciate that.
Yeah, and I guess this somewhat kind of segues into right this new year, new us kind of vibe. Um, just because we turn into a new year and we're always focused on becoming a new, better us, doesn't necessarily mean that the new year is always great, right? Not everybody gets the greatest start. So, over the
Mhm.
weekend, I believe we heard about the Philly fire, and just to tie it back into our job, our profession, we heard about a fire that ripped through a Philadelphia home that housed 26 people. 12 people passed away, 8 of them being children, in a home.
God, that's gotta be hard, man.
Yeah, and it was a home owned by the city and managed by the city, a row home. Apparently, this home that was contracted to house 20 people actually housed 26 people at the time of the fire. There was no fire escapes installed in the building, as I guess code in Philadelphia didn't require it. um, and as well as no sprinklers installed because of the age of the home. New buildings of that capacity are required to have sprinklers, but however, no
So
a
hold
building of
hold
that
on.
age didn't need to be retrofitted.
So here's the thing, right? All right. So I get the sprinklers, right? That might be you might not have compatible equipment. Fine. How is it that any building is deemed okay without a fire escape? Like I feel like that's standard protocol. I don't care how old the house is. You just put, you know what I mean? Like because people need multiple means of egress. If you have one way in, one way out, that is literally, no pun intended, a death trap, especially when it comes to fire. So like how could they even justify not with that many
And
occupants?
this
And
is a
granted, there were 6 over, but even still, if you have 20 occupants, that's a lot of people. Even getting out the front door, when people panic, you might want to divide that so that people have another way to go. Be- I don't know. Maybe I'm, taking it too personally, but I feel like
and this
how do
this
you
is a
justify that?
And
right. And this is a building, right?
this was it was a building. I think it was converted into like a multi-family by the city, because it was
But
like renovated to house more people.
20, but I'm saying 26 people, so it's got to be like it's not a house.
They described it as like a row house apartment building. So it says a two
Okay.
family city row house, but I believe in the past it was originally just like a one family. So they converted it into a two family. The contract stated only
There's
20
26
people,
people living in a
and then
two
they
family.
I don't know how you get 26 people in a I don't know how you get 20 people, let alone 26 people in a home
That's
like that.
terrible.
Yeah, two
And the worst
family.
part about this, and I just read this now, uh, 6 battery operated smoke detectors were installed in that home. None of them are
And they
operational.
all needed batteries. Unbelievable.
Maybe batteries, the system was off. Who knows if they were connected? I mean, time and time again, we see it on our side how important smoke detectors are and how underrated they are continually. I mean, we just go in for EMS calls, regular 911s, and we hear people leaving them beeping because they need a new battery or they just simply don't have smoke detectors inside their home.
Or they
And
disconnect them.
people disconnect them. I mean, there's so many reasons why smoke detectors aren't always operational in homes, and it's such a underrated safety feature in a home that can save lives. I mean, you know, there's a ton of education out there. We try as a fire department ourselves to get to schools and people to educate them about fire safety, and that's including smoke detectors, how important those are, especially to children, right? Because children, I mean, eight children
8
passed away.
children. That's
I don't
terrible.
I don't know in what
And not
capacity,
saying if it was adults it would be
where.
better, but like that's
No, right, right. No life loss is any good life loss, right? But
yeah.
it's tougher to see children lost in this setting because it's like I mean it's children. They're less capable to probably
Right.
escape
Right.
dangers, and you really have to look at like who could be responsible, who could have made the difference here, or
Whoever
what could
built
have made the
that
difference
building
here.
and thought it was okay to not have a freaking fire escape. So you could renovate the building, but you don't deem it worthy to make sure that the people who are going to make you all this money have a safe way to get out of the building. Like, how does the city even live with
Right.
themselves? Like, how did you,
And
like,
I
okay,
had
I get the sprinkler system. I totally get that. But, like, the fire escape, like, how? How is that even deemed okay? How is that, how did that pass code or whatever their code is? How?
Well, I don't want to. I don't want to piggyback off of what you're talking about to make things worse, but there also was a huge fire in the Bronx, New York, recently. That this was a building, um, and so the heading, the title reads 19 dead after space heater sparks NYC's worst fire disaster in 30 plus years. Um, just to keep it kind of brief, I don't want to go too crazy into it, but into the article. But an electric space heater is being blamed for sparking the horrific high-rise Bronx apartment fire that killed at least 19 people, including 9 children.
Oh my gosh. That's insane.
Says the fire originated in a duplex on the second and third floor of the building, but never extended past the unit um, in the hallway. Uh, it says smoke generated from the duplex blaze was able to filter out through an open door and spread throughout the 19-story structure. So
That's
it was
insane,
smoke,
man.
and this was something caused. I guess it said it goes on to say that 63 people were injured, 32 have been hospitalized with life-threatening injuries, and sadly, 19 of the victims died. Um, it started from a smoke heater, from a space heater, and the door to the apartment was kept open, which is something that obviously they have the fire-resistant doors in buildings like that, and possibly if the door was closed, it's one of the. They said it was one of the automatic doors that closes usually, like right behind
Yep.
you, but it didn't close, and so that was what allowed the smoke to fill up the building. Um,
I
Those are
mean,
some
it's
bad
that is
tragic,
things.
tragic. I
you know.
mean, in New Haven, I guess we don't have too many structures that are like maybe set up like that, like apartment buildings. We have a couple through New Haven, but most of our fires tend to be in like how we call it 2.5 wood residentials, which is like, if I can explain it in layman terms, like your regular 2-story home that you would see driving through New Haven. It's just like a regular
Right, right.
residence
Single family,
where it, right,
multi-family.
in New York you have these high rise buildings, and one key factor in these high rise buildings is something that we call flow path, right? We know fire loves oxygen, and if you leave a door open from a room that has fire, it gives it the opportunity to seek out that oxygen and go towards it. So if you ever have a fire and you, like, say you if you provide oxygen from somewhere, if you provide air from somewhere, it travels, it goes, it wants to seek and find the oxygen. So in this circumstance, I mean, I don't know all the details, all the particulars, but closing a door could have been a big difference here, because you wouldn't have
Big
fire and
difference.
smoke escaping.
Could have made the whole difference.
Right. And that's I mean, that's education. That's different type of education that you give to people who live in apartments, on, like, if there's a fire in your home, close the door when you leave, or even for residents who are escaping in other units, right? If you're leaving your unit that's protected, close the door on the back,
Close the door,
excuse me, close the door
please.
on your way out, because that may protect your belongings
Do
from
somebody a
being in
favor.
danger. Right. Or we always talk about shelter in place. If you have no ability to escape where you are, close the door to your room, and that will give you time to protect yourself for a first responder to get to them. Both these fires from Philly and New York sound like they got away to a point where firefighters did all they could do, but there was only so much they could do in order to change the outcome. So,
Could imagine it was chaos.
I mean, it had to be a chaotic scene. And we need to make sure
That's
from the cities, the departments, that we relay to the public, important education for our communities on how to go about how they do things, just regularly. So I guess this will go into our pleas and thank yous naturally, right?
I do
yeah.
want to say before that, if you're a New York or a Philly firefighter, hearts definitely go out to you right now.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Would not have wanted to be
That is
Yeah.
definitely a bad
part of that.
thing.
Unfortunately, though, it is
Yeah.
It's
part
part
of
of
the
the
Yeah.
job.
God
job.
bless you guys. I mean, it's too many, regardless whether children or adults. You don't want to see too many lives lost, and that's a hard burden
That's
for those
heavy.
guys to
That's
carry,
heavy.
and they have to continue going to work. We've been there. We've seen loss at all types of turns and corners on our job, and you have to turn around and keep working because the world doesn't stop. So yeah, definitely our hearts and prayers to the FDNY and Philly Fire Department. So, but to turn this into
Yes.
our
So,
please and thank you, right?
yeah,
So,
please and thank you is definitely going to be a different direction today. Uh, but what I will say is, you know what? I want to expound even more. So, upon hearing the story, right, the original thought was to address the space heater thing.
Right.
And if I'm not mistaken, in New Haven, propane and kerosene heaters are
Kerosene.
already
Kerosene.
banned.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But this was an electric heater, which also poses a threat. But I think not only just dealing with the space heater issue, like just overall hearing the story, like I want to add the please and thank you today is please get as much education on fire as you can so that you can make these small adjustments, like something knowing like closing the door could have saved lives. And I get it, right? Because it's proprietary information, right? If you're not a firefighter, chances are you don't concern yourself with these type of ideas, like you don't know about the tetrahedron and all that good stuff that you don't normally concern yourself with. But I would say, in light of a fire that claimed what was it, 12 in Philly and 19 in New York, that's a lot of lives and a lot of little kids. A lot of little kids. So if you can, one, eliminate the space heaters because they're dangerous. But two, try to educate yourself on all the things that you can do to help preserve your life before we get there. Because once we get there, we can only do what we can do with what we got. And if I'm being honest, we'd rather make rescues than recoveries. So if it's as simple as knowing to close the door, or anything of that nature, like just try to find it. The information's out there, and it doesn't take long. It's not like you got to go to a class. We're not asking you to be firefighters. We just want you to help yourself, save yourself, as much as you can. Thank you.
Well, and that's a big part of this, right? It's just staying knowledgeable on the things that you have in your home. So space heaters, I have electric space heater myself, and obviously the biggest concern there is operating it unsupervised. It's like having a child, right? Having any normal item can be dangerous to a child. Well, you have to treat things that and involve heat or electricity. They have to be somewhat supervised. You can't just operate a electric heater unsupervised, warming up a room near things that could be
Leaving it next to
flammable. Another thing
items.
that we was
Yep.
talking about is a standing candle. Standing candles start many fires that we come across because someone sets a candle maybe on a bookshelf or something, and it just warms up
Tips
and warms
over.
up and warms up and creates a fire. So it's just being mindful of the things that you use. Another thing that I want to point out as far as this please and thank you is concerned, heating up your homes with your oven. That's like an OG thing that I've seen my grandparents do, that we've seen a lot of our friends and families do. And that's a tough thing, right? Because we're talking about like,
Sometimes it's hard times, man. Sometimes it's the only heat
sometimes
you
it's hard that right, exactly. And it's hard to explain to a population or community to not have to use that when they're using that as a form of survival. But it's important to know that you can't use that because it's a fire hazard, it's a gas hazard, and it can be dangerous to the livelihood of not only yourself in that little apartment that you're
Everyone
warming
in
up,
the
but
building.
the people in the building. Right? You're risking
Right.
everybody for that. So it's very important to
pilot
just
goes out,
be able to
then we got
obtain that
gas
information.
issues.
My only other pleas, I'd like to please challenge these departments in these cities, in our city, every city worldwide, especially metropolitans, to get out there with education. This is a tough thing for normal
And not
lay
just for kids.
people. Education for kids, education for adults.
No, I'm saying we do a lot for
Right,
kids, right? We all go to schools, but not just for kids,
right.
because we can't expect the
Yeah, the
kids
kids.
to disseminate the information that we
And
give
you're
them
absolutely right.
at
Right,
home
right,
effectively. We're thinking short attention spans. Maybe they're not even picking up or processing everything you say. So it has to start with the
right.
adults,
We need to get education
and it can
out
trickle down.
to the adults, to the
Right.
households, so they know basic things like when your smoke detector is beeping, it's not just to be annoying, it's because it could be a low
Need
battery or there's
service.
something malfunctioning. I'd rather take someone call a 911 thinking that their smoke detector is going off so we can go there and discover, oh no, it's just a low battery. That's what you should do. We're being able to at least
Right.
educate them on point.
Right.
Then someone just either ignore the beeping or rip off the detector altogether. Or like how many people have cooked before and your your first reaction is, oh, let me just take that off while I'm cooking. Like, we need to make sure that smoke detectors are used and operated fully and functionally at all times. So this please and thank you, I feel like, is big, right? Because we're talking about the education of our people, but also our willingness of our departments and city services to be able to provide that education to the people. Right, because you're not like I saw a big proponent that people were complaining about in the Philly fire, where like the sprinklers could have been a difference, the sprinklers could have been a difference, but in reality, it's not cost effective, most likely, to put sprinklers in every old building, to retrofit sprinklers in every old building. So what can you do in light of that is to get the education out, discuss with people, and especially in those buildings, on what to do in case of a fire. Provide them
And that damn
fire
fire
extinguishers
escape.
and fire escapes. I mean, that's, to me, that's definitely a cost
That's
effective
insane.
thing. So yeah, I mean, thank you for hearing our pleas. I hope we can move forward and learn from these events. We can't let these lives we can't let these lives be lost in vain. Exactly.
Right.
So to piggy or to turn off that on a lighter note, let's move into our
Want me to
hero
hit it?
of the day.
And now, it's time for our hero of the day. Brought to you by the good folks at the Watch Booth.
Word. So I know we're running late on this podcast, but I feel like it's really important. It's a story that I read the other day. I mean, time is time, right? It's either you're here with us or you aren't. But
They miss us.
listen,
It's two episodes in one.
exactly,
They miss
right?
us.
2 in 1. That's good content right there. So for this hero of the day, it's going to be a TSA officer named Cecilia Morales. She's been on the TSA for all but 2 months, and she had an emergency during her line doing a baggage check when she noticed that an infant in a car seat carrier was having a difficulty time breathing, or not being able to breathe at all. And what's crazy is, right, so she tried to Cecilia has 10 years of EMT experience background before the TSA. So she was able to identify the problem. She tried to communicate with the mother immediately. Unfortunately, the mother was probably in so much shock and dismay that she couldn't really react. So thankfully, Cecilia was able to jump into action real fast. I think she jumped over the conveyor belt, got to the baby, saw that possibly the baby was having some kind of choking episode. She turned the baby around, performed back thrust as we were taught in EMT school, and the child started to breathe. I believe she did a thrust 2 times, 2 intervals. She gave the baby a couple breaths a second time, and then EMTs of the airport arrived on scene to provide oxygen for the baby, and the baby survived the traumatic incident. So, shout out to Cecilia Morales, who, like I said, started her job 2 months in. She was an EMT in the past. She used skills, right? Shout out to her. She used skills that she had in the past to be able to forward that to someone who was in need. And we're talking about, right, every time we talk about these heroes of the days, we like to point out people, regular people, who do extraordinary things. And I want to make sure that Cecilia is recognized for this, because it's not every day that something like this happens, where you have someone capable of performing life-saving techniques to help save someone, let alone a baby.
But let's not downplay her parkour skills, because she definitely hopped over the conveyor belt. That's like live action movie stuff, okay?
Right. And if somebody wants to see, I want to say they have a video of the whole incident, I think, online. I'm looking at I don't know, some random. This happened in Florida, I believe. But I mean, Cecilia just not
New York, Florida.
Yeah, not hesitating to jump into the action. I mean, that's when you talk about heroes. Real heroes don't wear capes. I mean,
that's right.
You can't ask for anything more than that. That's
right.
such an inspiring story, and It reminds us all at all
You should send her a
times.
hoodie. You should send her a hoodie, Jordan.
We
She
should.
deserves a
We
hoodie.
should.
I
We
get
We
her
should send
should.
her a
information.
hoodie.
We could.
We
Absolutely.
absolutely now
Shameless
we have
plug.
to because now we're gonna air this and now we're on the hook. We owe her a hoodie. She needs a hoodie. I'm just
Oh, I'm
saying.
sorry. I said Florida. It was actually in Newark, New Jersey.
Oh,
So
Oh, that's
oh,
even closer.
Philly, New Jersey, New
she's
York. Look at that.
she's right there.
Sheesh,
She's
it's a
right
lot
there.
going on.
So I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. Shout out
Well,
to her.
it's good to hear that. That was a positive outcome, man. The babies, man. And I know we talked about like, there's no life that's like, yeah, well, that was cool. But like, there's something about when it's the kids that pull on your heartstrings in a different way, man. And just hearing
Right.
those two stories
Right.
was tough. I'm glad we rounded it off with that. That brought
Right,
it
and
back.
and one quick thing I wanted to touch on because I'm sure like a lot of people who may have been around emergency situations or settings, and they wonder like why parents or family members react the way that they do. And if people don't understand, I mean, it's a very difficult situation to be as a parent, a family member, a friend, whoever's connected to that particular moment in time, to be able to react normally as you would think, right? So how many times you watch the likes of, I feel like we love talking about this show, but Chicago Fire, where you watch some emergency setting, and you think to yourself, well, this is what I would do in a setting like this, but you really don't know how you would react in any kind of setting until it happens. So
To give it
Especially if you
go
don't
ahead.
have training.
Right.
to give it context, I don't know if I ever touched on this, but my daughter was a micro preemie. She was born 1 pound 5 ounces, 24 weeks gestation. She had a lot of medical problems. She almost died, came close to dying. Um, can't even count how many times. And is one of the things that actually pushed me into this field was watching the firefighters and stuff. Um, but I was always afraid to be around her by myself because I was afraid of what my reaction would have been had something happened to her, right? And I watched these people come in who obviously don't know her, just come in and
Get
with
to it.
poise and control, and they just did it. And it's a baby, right? So um, in that day and age, I would have probably panicked. Now knowing what I know, and kind of having the experience that I have, in most situations I'm very composed. I still think that maybe if it was one of my kids, I may be a little bit less composed than what I would need to be
Right.
in order to effectively, you know, make any change. But that's the contrast, is that when it's your kid, when it's someone when and you don't have that experience, or you don't have that kind of um training, you don't you it's very hard to react in the way that you know
And I
some
think
people
it's
do.
Yeah.
incumbent upon people
That
to recognize that you can't expect much from a parent, especially a mother, without any, unless she has some medical training. You should almost assume she's gonna freak out. This is her child, and her child is in a position where her child may not be here much longer. If you are cool, calm, and collected, well, I tip my hat to you. But I also might think something might be off about you. You know what I mean? Like, it's a natural reaction, and I think we need to give grace in that area.
Right. And understand that, anyone can be in that situation, including yourself, the listener, listening to this. I mean, you might find yourself in a situation where, you didn't expect to be, and your reaction, especially, it's always easy to think about it after it happens and what you could have done
hmm
differently. So
hmm
just always give grace, and understand that these situations, when they happen, typically people don't expect them to happen. So you have to expect the unexpected as far as reaction and emotions from people. We've seen
Yep.
from 911 calls, emotions running high to emotions almost non-existent, where you would think like, yo, what's wrong here? So I mean, emergencies are tough. It's a tough thing to deal with. It's a tough thing to be able to process. And that's why I feel like it was so nice to be able to, just recognize this TSA agent on being able to act so quickly and swiftly, because not everybody has that ability. And probably kudos to her background in being an EMT, because she's probably had to do something like that in the past. But just it was a beautiful story. God bless her, and thankful for people like that to being able to step in when something goes awry.
Nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
So, but I think that's
with that.
With that being said, let's cap off the end of the
End
episode.
it on a high note. Right. End it on a high note.
End it on the high note. So, hey, we want to just thank everyone for joining us this week on episode 8 of Watch Booth. Thank you for watching. If you are watching this on YouTube, please like, follow, subscribe, hit that bell so you can get notifications every time we drop any content on our YouTube page. If you're an audio listener,
Share
that. Download our podcast. Do all that nice stuff. Then you just want to
tell us how much we suck.
Just because you want to
or
listen
how awesome
to us
we are.
audio wise, we'll give you that audio seduction that you want. Anyways, again, guys, thank you everyone for tuning in this episode. It's been real. Episode 8, The Watch Booth. I've been one of your co-hosts, Ian. Follow with Jordan and Kyle. Thanks for joining us. Peace.
Me and my dogs on the front line. Me and my dogs on the front line. Be at your door when it's crunch time. Look, we at your door when it's crunch time. Risking it all to ease your mind. This all to ease your mind. This ain't a game, this is wartime. Look, homie, this wartime, yeah.